In 1981, after relocating with his family to Littleton, Colorado, Brian Nevin met Rob Squires at Columbine High School and joined Rob's rock band, Intruder. In the fall of 1984, Todd Park Moore transferred to Columbine, where he and Brian played together in Columbine's jazz ensemble, Todd on saxophone, Brian on drums. Todd, Brian, and Rob, who was attending CU, started a new combo, TJ and the Twist. With their mix of blues, soul, and classic rock, they won the 1984 Columbine High School Battle of the Bands. Fronted by Moore's strong writing, powerful vocals, and charisma, the young group started gaining steam. By the time all three had enrolled at the University of Colorado Boulder, the band, now known as Big Head Todd and the Monsters, were playing parties and bars up and down the I-25 corridor, any place where they could set up and rock. They'd pass a hat during a show and earn somewhere between $40 and $100. They regularly rocked out at a variety of local clubs, including J.J. McCabe's, Tulagi, Cricket on the Hill, the Ramskeller, Herman's Hideaway, the Boulder Theater, and Fort Ram. In 1989, borrowing $5,000 from their parents, they launched their own independent label, Big Records, to record and release their first album. Another Mayberry featured 11 original songs written by Moore.
Flanders fields where the poppies blow.
Between that self-produced record and the next one, 1991's Midnight Radio,
someday somebody's gonna love me. Someday it's me they're looking for. Somewhere I know somebody wants me.
they developed a following thanks primarily to their non-stop road schedule. They'd pile into the Colonel, their 1977 mustard yellow Plymouth van, and drive to San Francisco, Chicago, Minneapolis, Boston, and Austin, hitting college towns along the way, and hoping to find a living room floor to crash on. With Squires and Nevin providing a seamless backdrop for Moore's guitar heroics, Big Head Todd and the Monsters were soon ready for the national spotlight. They got people into record stores, selling an unheard of 58,000 copies on their own without any major distribution, and earned college radio airplay. They made savvy business decisions, such as buying their own soundboard and renting it out to other bands when they weren't touring. They compiled a press packet and added local radio folks and music press to guest lists. The not-so-big-headed guys demonstrated the ability to tour relentlessly and fill venues with capacities of 1,000 or more, grabbing attention in towns where they had a built-in crowd of University of Colorado alumni or people who'd seen them in Boulder. They garnered response from publications like Rolling Stone and the Washington Post. In 1991, after finally signing with Denver management company Morris Bleesner and Associates, the band caught the attention of music mogul Irving Azoff's Giant Records, a label distributed internationally by the mega WIA Corporation. The trio recorded its giant debut at Paisley Park Studios in Minneapolis. The result was Sister Sweetly, the killer album that served to define the band. Listeners across the nation caught on to what Colorado already knew when Broken Hearted Savior emerged as a top 10 track on the album rock charts. Subsequent hits like Circle and Bittersweet made Sister Sweetly the 8th most played album on rock radio in 1992, according to the trade journal Radio and Records. There were performances on the Today and David Letterman shows, and a tour supporting former Led Zeppelin vocalist Robert Plant. The album sold steadily on the back of word of mouth and constant gigs, achieving platinum status 3 years after its release. But with exhilarating fame came corporate intrusion, and the Monsters were ambivalent about the limelight and the suits meddling.
Nobody could be prepared for it. for what happens to your humanity when you become a celebrity. And I think it was honestly one of the worst times of my whole life.
When Big Head Todd and the Monsters recorded the follow-up, 1994's Stratagem, they did so by themselves. They set up shop at home and at the Boulder Theater with 2 inexpensive 8-track digital tape machines. The band joined Blues Traveler's Horde Tour and embarked on a maiden trek across Europe. The group worked with producer Jerry Harrison on 1997's Beautiful World, an energetic, honest batch of songs that blended gritty blues, easy funk, and acoustic charm. During the recording at a San Francisco Bay Area studio, a dream came true for the members when blues legend John Lee Hooker, who happened to be recording down the hall, agreed to perform his boogie classic Boom Boom with them.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang.
Although the Monsters were playing more than 200 shows per year, Stratagem and Beautiful World hadn't expanded their audience, and the media took little notice.
That's a lot of times how it works. You know, you don't think you got something, and you didn't spend a lot of time writing it, and people love it. Why? You know, some things you spent years writing, and you think it's your opus, you know, or whatever, and nothing.
Undaunted, the band continued to tour, satisfying a fiercely loyal fan base. The group chartered several Caribbean and Hawaiian cruises, filled with devotees. But they'd reached a stalemate with their label. Instead of imploding, the Monsters fell back on their friendship and passion for music. As the late 90s internet revolution began upending the music industry's business models, they found the web offered the freedom to rebuild their career with the same do-it-yourself spirit that brought them early success. In 2000, the trio headed to Moore's solar-powered recording studio in the Colorado mountains and recorded Riviera, released on the band's own Big Records. 2004's Crimes of Passion was licensed to Sanctuary Records. The band rediscovered its mojo on the road, the only place for acts to make real money. Around 2003, Moore decided to freshen the band's sound by adding keyboardist Jeremy Lawton, whose first show with the group came at Denver's Fillmore Auditorium on New Year's Eve in 2003 after a single 4-hour rehearsal. In 2005, they began distributing music for free via podcasting, releasing the single Blue Sky as a tribute to the men and women of the American space program.
There is now other one believe and you will find blue sky.
And the 2007 album, All the Love You Need. Rocksteady was released in 2010. Subsequent albums went heavy on the blues, with guest appearances by artists Moore met on the Chicago blues scene. The Monsters make an annual appearance at the legendary Red Rocks Amphitheater, where they first performed in 1991 as a down-ticket act at the old Blues on the Rocks Festival. The Big Head Todd shows have become a yearly reunion and celebration for the group's most devoted fans, a home field advantage any musician would envy. Big Head Todd and the Monsters have played together for parts of 5 decades, a remarkable stretch for any group, a truly organic success story that has prized hard work and personal loyalty as much as it has artistic and creative practices. The 3 original members' friendship has endured, a feat that precious few acts ever match.